And he got divorced too, or I guess he just sort of left her. So I guess he just got ghosted.
Well, oh. Is this the pirate ghost we were talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, she got more than she bargained for in that one. I'm sure she did. But
Well,
there are a
that's
lot of
just 'cause
cultures around the world that accept that.
Now, I haven't never actually seen an apparition as far as a person, spirit walking, or whatever.
There we go.
The only thing that I've ever seen was when we was at Gettysburg at the farmhouse. We seen
David Stewart Farm, right?
yeah, it's a David Stewart farm. We seen in the barn where little red dots kept lighting up, and everybody said that is the Confederate soldiers smoking cigarettes. So the red dots is the only thing that I've seen. So
Yeah, but you pointed out that you could see it before they pointed out what it was. They could all see it, and then you pointed out that you were seeing red dots, and Kat was all gleeful that you were seeing something that normally you would claim not to see.
right, but
Now,
Were you
I've
seeing
never
that with
seen.
equipment or not?
huh?
Were you seeing that with equipment or no equipment?
No, that was
His
with
eye?
my eyes. That wasn't using
Ah,
any equipment. I was actually seeing it, and so was everybody else that was there. But you couldn't see any of the spirits, only the red dots from the cigarettes. Every time they would, like take a puff, it'd get a little brighter, and then it'd go dim, and
Well, a lot of the others could see the spirits. You just saw the lights of the
yeah,
cigarettes.
that was all I
I've
could
never.
see.
Yeah, I was going to say I've never seen a full body apparition, but I have had a lot of auditory experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much where I end up.
Well, that's why I always loved the series. And I was just watching it before I got off with you. I found the entire series of Ghost Whisperer on DVD.
Oh wow, look for
And
me.
some people laugh at me about watching that show, but what they don't realize is that it's based on the life of Marianne Wachowski, who is a medium in Ohio.
Right.
And she started out with the first season being a consultant, then I think James Von Pratt took over after that.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of parapsychology and a lot of paranormal urban, I want to say urban myths associated with that series. And one of the seasons they got into was Professor Eli at, what's the town? I forget what it's called now. But the university there, that he has a near-death experience, wakes up and he can hear them. He can't see them, but he can hear them. So it's almost like they have to put Professor Eli together with Melinda to make a complete stereo set. Because Melinda can see and hear, but Professor Eli can hear him, and it drives him absolutely bats because he'll wake up in the middle of the night and hear people talking to him, and it drives him absolutely crazy. So Melinda has to coach him through that ability because not all two mediums are the same. They aren't built the same.
Well, the next time you're watching the episode called A Grave Matter, where David Paymer is the charred ghost who's in the wrong grave.
Oh, yeah.
I'm his body double in that episode.
No
So
kidding.
when you see his body on the ground and it jumps up to seeing him looking down at, that's me on the ground. Also in the alleyway, when she's looking at him and then walks a few steps and he's in front of her, I'm the one in the alley with my back slightly to the camera.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we just have all kinds of famous people on this show.
Yeah, I have a photo on my webpage of me with David Paymer dressed alike and with the same makeup on and all. So.
Oh, that's great. It's amazing to watch that series now and pick out all the cameos of all the different stars that have passed through that series. And, Kathy, oh gosh, I just got off the comedian one. That was really good. There's a lot of comedians in that one, too. There are really, top star comedians that are in there. Yeah,
you've seen the one with Ron Howard's father, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, with the orphans. I love
Yeah.
that one.
And he's literally like, I think this place is haunted. You're like, oh, really?
No, yeah, this is my favorite, and I tell people that too because I said, "Well, what's good on TV to watch?" And they're expecting some sort of reality television show to get tossed out. I'm like, no, Ghost Whisperer. And they're just like, "What?" I was, no, they go through so many things and paranormal phenomena that are in there. I mean, the man with the hat is a universal experience that a lot of people have. And they personalized it by giving him a name and everything and a story to go with it. That's all made up for the show. But that's a universally recognized symbol across parapsychology and paranormal all throughout the world. And of course, you have the spirit attachment that Jim has with the motorcycle accident victim. So they talk about spirit attachment. Yeah. And of course the new wish of being dead. You have Andrea that comes back from the dead and she's confused and she doesn't understand what's going on, and then Melinda has to go through the anguish of crossing her own friend over. That's got to be tough. Wow, I can't imagine having to do that.
That blew my mind at the beginning of the second season that she was had been killed. I was like, oh no, you can't kill her. And yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Aisha, she's just a wonderful actress. I know she's just wonderful.
I love her on Archer.
Yes, she's really good on that show.
And then, of course, the movie that everybody think, well, at least the psychics think is very accurate, is The Sixth Sense.
Yes, it is. Actually, it is. That's one of my favorite movies out there. A lot of them I could take less with a grain of salt. But that one has always been a long-time favorite of mine. And it still makes me cry every time because I've dealt with these children that have had these experiences, and to comfort them. And, you can't see what they see, but to empower them enough to have control over what's happening to them. It does. It chokes me up. It makes me cry.
Well, I mean, when you start to look at possibly what these children are seeing, it's one thing for us, which, we see a ghost running down a hallway and we're all going, yes, finally. And these kids are seeing things which are just, could be very brutal for them. So,
right, it's very traumatizing. Psychologically, it's very, very rough. I mean, you're a child and you expect your parent to be able to protect you from all these horrible things. And this is the one thing they can't protect them from, which is why I'm such an advocate of these children not doing ghost hunting. I don't care how cute it looks. I don't care how cute it is. It's like once you have to hold your child at night to keep the bad things away from them, and they're really there, and you invited them into that environment to have that experience because you thought that would be quote unquote fun. Now what are you going to do? That child's trust in you is going to be broken irrevocably. Don't put yourself in that situation.
We had the producer of a show on with us, and I forget exactly what the name of it was, but it was about kids who believed that they're reincarnated from...
Oh, yeah, the ghost inside me?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that might have been what it was. Yeah. And so how do you see reincarnation then, like that?
There's been lots of really good research done by Dr. Jim Tucker at the University of Virginia, Personality Studies. He's written several good books on the topic, including the Leininger case, which some of you may or may not be familiar with. He actually woke up around, he was young, spouting all this stuff about airplanes he couldn't possibly known. And these were antique airplanes. And how little man caught, trapped underneath, need to get him out. Little man on fire. And all these nightmares he'd be having, waking up screaming. And he started drawing pictures where he was calling himself James 3. Well, he wasn't a James 3. He was a James 1. He was James Leininger. That was the only one. And to start cultivating this information, the family started doing that, and they reached out to Dr. Jim Tucker. And Dr. Jim came in and started analyzing the situation and started to notice that this child had a lot more information in his head than he could possibly have or should have. in regards to World War II. And it was actually in regards to an MIA pilot who had passed away during the Battle of, I believe it was Midway.
It was one
so
of
he
them.
was MIA.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry?
Yeah, because he kept showing that he was a pilot and how he got killed and all that stuff. That was pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and he actually went to one of the reunions where these pilots were at, and he walked up to every one of them like he knew them. Yeah. And the pilots were just floored. They were like, who is this kid?
Yeah.
How does he know me? Yeah. It was just absolutely amazing. And they even talked to James Leininger's sister. And they had a private conversation, supposedly, him and the little boy. And she's like, I can't see any other way he could possibly know what he did if he wasn't my brother. And that is just astounding. What was really fascinating is that Jim Tucker came back to Paramook this year, which is a really great online free parapsychology classroom that you can go into through Nancy Cingroni. If you go on to YouTube, you can find a lot of their videos. It's Paramook, MOOC. And I believe she's posting that class pretty soon. But they show a picture of James Leininger. He looks just like the guy that died. It is eerie. And he's in the military. The guy grew up to go into the military. He did not become a pilot, but he did go in the military. So it's just like, it was the first time I'd ever seen him, James Leininger, as an adult. And I'm like, he looks just like the pilot that died.
Yeah.
And
so
it's just...
So do you believe then that people are reincarnated? Do you think it's just some or all, or how do you see that?
I think based on the information that we have right now on reincarnation, it's pretty much going to be faith-based. Yeah, there's just not enough information to really make a judgment call on it, but to see all of these people come in that are able to give finite, really detailed information about how they died, where they grew up, the people that they knew. And a lot of this tends to come from cultures that already accept reincarnation as a belief system, like in India. It wasn't until that Jim Tucker decided, no, I'm going to divorce that part of the population away from this and start studying Western civilization for these phenomena. That's when it really started jumping out at me as, wow, this could be really a thing. So you look at other people.
There's been studies done before that. I can't remember the author, but there's a book called The Cathars and Reincarnation.
It's
okay. And this reincarnated child was spouting off things about the Cathars that she couldn't possibly know because all that material was being stored in the Vatican archives, and there's no way she could have had access to it.
Right. And they've had some cases, too, in some, where was it? Was it in Palestine? But they actually solved a murder case based on the child's recollection of how he was murdered. Wow. And they went to the individual to question him, and he confessed.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. And I have to go dig up and find the particulars for that case. But, just that kind of stuff just jumps out at you. Like, how can you not raise the question of the validity of these things? And granted, it's becoming harder and harder to make these cases airtight because of the internet and the ability of some of these children to just jump on a computer and go. It's amazing. Some of these kids can do coding that adults can't even do. But, right. It's becoming harder to make those distinctions. And I even talked to Jim about that on our last conference call when we did the class, is that, okay, you're making assumptions based on gender-specific things as to whether this person was male or female.